Chapter 34. That had been close, Noah thought as he pulled into his own driveway. He had spent the entire drive down the mountain, dreading dropping Steph off at her apartment. He didn't want her to go back. He wanted her to stay with him. He wanted her to move in with him, but should he ask? Did he have any chance? They'd only met about 2 weeks before. She would think he was as crazy as Eric if he asked her to move in now. When she'd said she wasn't ready to go back yet, a huge weight had lifted from his chest. But now, he was going to have to help her find another place to go. Another way for her to leave him. They went inside and got comfortable. Hey! Noah looked up from where he'd been moving laundry from the washer to the dryer, to find Steph with her head poked in the laundry room door. Yeah? You mind if I take a shower? I told you. Make yourself at home. Mi casa es su casa. Thanks, she said before disappearing around the corner. Noah went back to the laundry, but couldn't get the thought out of his head. My house is your house. Why couldn't he offer to let her move in? If she didn't want to live with him, she could have the spare bedroom. He only had a few things in there anyway. They could be roommates until she was ready for more. He hoped. Her shower would take a few minutes, so he finished the laundry, even folding the load that had been in the dryer. He was putting things into his dresser when she stepped out of the bathroom. You look like you feel better. He glanced at her, then went back to what he was doing. Much. She wore the thin nightgown they had gotten for her the night before, with a towel wrapped around her head. Had it only been a few hours since that shopping trip? It felt like days at least. I was thinking about it. He closed the last drawer and leaned against the chest of drawers as he turned to look at her. Have you ever considered a roommate? I did once, but I keep weird hours. My classes aren't usually so bad, but then there's the random shifts, and I get caught up when I'm into an art project. Plus, I like keeping the second bedroom for a studio. Would you consider it again? He watched her for a second, then continued, You could move in here, take the other bedroom if you don't want to be more than roommates. I know this is fast, but I hate the idea of you leaving. Steph tugged the towel loose on her head and rubbed her head. I don't know. Are you sure you want me coming in and being in your way all the time? Like I said, I keep weird hours. I do too. I work nights. Does it get much weirder than that? He shot her a half smile. I have a few boxes in there now. It's a storage room. That's all. I like having you here. I can't imagine you leaving. Please consider it. And what if I don't want to be your roommate and sleep in the other room? What if I want to stay right here in your bed? She kept her eyes on something else, he wasn't sure what. Then I'd be even happier. You can turn the other bedroom into your studio. I don't care what you want to do with it, just please stay. She tossed the towel over the back of a nearby chair and looked up at him. For the first time, he realized her eyes were brimming with tears, but she didn't let them spill. Yes. She came at him. He stood and opened his arms just in time to catch her as she launched herself at him. I didn't want to leave. I thought you wanted me out. Never. His gaze dropped to her full lips, and he couldn't resist the pull between them as his mouth lowered to cover hers. Steph met his kiss with as much need and passion as he felt. Her hands pulled at his clothes until they disappeared. Her nightgown didn't last long. Noah lifted her against him and moved them to the bed. Lowering her to the mattress, he realized this is what he had always wanted. Someone who looked at him with the same want, the same need, the same desire as he looked at them. The world faded away and all that mattered, all that existed, was the two of them. They lived in a world of touches, sighs and moans as they reveled in each other, their wants, and their needs. Later, when the world had returned around them, Noah lay on his side, watching Steph. "What?" she asked, shooting him a frown. What? Why are you watching me like that?" "Because I can." He smiled. "I was watching you thinking." "Thinking what?" "Thinking this the best thing I've ever known, and there are few things I can think of that would be better." "But what are they?" A ghost of a smile curved her lips as she rolled toward him and hooked one leg over his. "To start with?" He picked up her hand and brought it to his lips. "A ring on this finger? I know it's fast and I won't push, but that's where I'm leaning." "Anything else?" "Yes, but I don't want to scare you away." "You won't scare me." "What is it?" He ran his hand up her arm and down her side until he reached her belly, his gaze lifted to meet hers. "To feel my baby grow here." She tensed, and for a moment, he thought she was going to get up and leave. Instead, she leaned close and whispered one word. "Yes." "Yes." "To which part?" "Eventually all of it, but for now, I'll take the ring." Noah's breath stuck in his throat, and it took him a moment to be able to speak. "That wasn't how I intended to propose, but I'm not going to give you a chance to back out." He pulled her close and kissed her. What had been a shitty sunrise turned out to be the best day of his life. Thank you for reading Smoldering Sunsets. Check out the next book in the Pelican Lake series, Sultry Nights. Find the rest of Melissa's books, including series and reading orders, on Melissa's website http://melissastevens.us. Stay on top of all the news, new releases, and receive exclusive early release offers and giveaway information by joining Melissa's VIP reader list.